We are now recording with Jan Kuiker, and welcome to Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Thank you.
It's good
It's
to
really nice out here.
So you put out a new album. What's the name of it?
The name of the album is The Poor Devil.
Okay, right, The Poor Devil.
The Poor Devil, and yeah, it's a new album. It's my second album, and yeah, you listened to it, right? I think
Yes, I've listened to it twice.
twice even.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think you're the first person to have heard it, apart from me and my girlfriend and my daughter,
Right.
who I don't think they have to hear it again. But yeah, it's my new album. It's going to be released January the 8th.
Okay.
And but I'm thinking about putting it on Bandcamp maybe a bit earlier than that. I mean, I'm a fan of Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Not so much a fan of other
Right.
streaming services. So I might want to give Bandcamp a heads up and release it there first.
One.
Yeah, definitely.
So what made you to decide to go more country? Your first album, Tales of Woe, was a little bit, it was like country, folk, a little bit of rock, but it had a very dark edge. And the new one sort of does, but it's definitely I would file it in a record store under country. What ultimately led to the change in the decision to do that?
I don't know for sure. I think it was more of a natural. It was kind of a natural thing, kind of a natural evolution, so you will. I've always been into country music, and I've listened to country music since I was like, I don't know, 6, 7 years old. Listening to my sister's records, so that's kind of deep rooted in me. And I always wanted to make a country record. And Tales of Woe, that like you said, it's a darker album.
Yeah.
And that was kind of I always wanted to write those songs and tell those stories that I had, and they fitted better with darker music, I think.
Right.
So it was kind of a, I don't know. And then I had these new stories that I felt like weren't as dark as the ones in Tales of Woe. So I kind of fitted the music with the stories that I had in mind, and vice versa. I had some country songs that I didn't feel like needed dark lyrics. So yeah, so it was kind of a natural thing. And I don't make a really conscious decision to write either dark or not so dark.
Right.
But this kind of felt natural. Yeah.
So I like I said, I listened to it twice. When I listen to music, usually the first listen I just kind of take it all in. I don't really pay attention to any one thing. The second time I listened, I paid really close attention to like the musical compositions and but I haven't quite. Typically the third or fourth is when I really listen to the lyrics, but I haven't really paid that much attention to the lyrics yet. So what are a couple things, either a couple themes you've written about in this one, or if you even want to be really specific, like if there's a couple stories in the songs that you wrote about?
Oh, wow. Let me think. So the song is 10. The album is 10 songs on it, and the first one is like really this. I wanted to write. I had this like really a bluesy thing in my head that I've always been playing on my guitar. Whenever I pick up a guitar, I play this first. Most people have this chord that they play, or they pick something just to get their guitar in tune. And I always played that particular thing, and I decided to make that into a song, and it became this like this bluesy country thing, and where I sing along with the picking of the guitar. So it's really basic. And it needed like really basic lyrics, really simple lyrics, and so that's a song about almost a country, almost like a cowboy song about a guy who was being hung, was being lynched,
right? So it's still a
blue.
little bit dark.
It's a little bit dark, yeah, but it's more of a yeah. Well, the songs on Tales of Woe were more about death and the devil and
Right.
about the afterlife and
Yeah.
whatever. And
More
and I
religious
like,
themes.
yeah. And this first song on that album, the new album, is more like a man who is, well, and maybe it's even a bit autobiographical. I'm not sure. Um, but it's about someone who lost his religion really, and know he's going to be hanged, and so he sings, well, um, don't pity me because I'm not saved. You'll see
Right.
my grave, and don't pity me. I'm dead, but don't
Yeah.
worry, I'm gone.
Right. Yeah.
Because
That,
he doesn't believe that he's going to go to hell, and he doesn't
right.
believe in anything.
And
So
he's
that's what
okay
that song
with it.
is about. Sorry.
And he's okay with it.
He's okay, exactly, and
Yeah.
that's
That's
maybe
good.
maybe that's kind of the underlying thing
Yeah.
of the whole album. That you, it's yeah, religion has always been a big part of my life, and I made a decision not to go to church anymore and not to be connected with Christianity in that way.
Right. Right.
But it will always be a part of me.
It's always there.
Yeah, I mean, what it is, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
were raised Christian.
Right.
And so it will always be a part of you. You can make a decision to not go to church anymore and to,
Right.
shove that part away, but it will always be there.
Yeah. And it
And
makes
that's
good songs and good stories.
it will always, yeah, that's a
Movies.
that's the good thing about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the intro of the album, but I guess that sets kind of the vibe, or the it puts you in the right mood for the rest of the album, I think. So I like that one as an intro and as
Right.
an introduction for the.
It's the jumping off point that sets the mood for the rest of the album to some degree.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have I released 2 singles ahead of this album, "Flowers on a Grave" and "Devils in Town," and those are on this album as well. And "Flowers on a Grave" is really like a murder ballad,
Yeah. So, yep.
about
And that
about
one was that you said that's the one that was released earlier
yeah,
and is now appearing on this album. Yeah.
yeah. And the second single is "Devils in Town," which was also a single.
Yep.
And that's kind of more of a darker song, which could have been a song on Tales of Woe, as far as darkness it goes. But it's I think that's the darkest song on the album, and that's about making a pact with the devil going wrong. The classic story of making a pact with the devil, which
It's been around
always,
a long time.
yeah, Faust, the Faust
Right.
tales,
Yeah. Faust. Yeah. Of course.
yeah, Faust, and what's his name,
Gete.
Robert Johnson, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking the other day, I was listening to a blues album, and it's only been the last 2 years that I've revisited old blues music. I've never heard hardly any of the Robert Johnson album or songs. Are you a big fan of him?
No.
Like, I
No, well,
really don't
not,
know much about him except he's important, A, and
yeah,
B, a lot of the reason why contemporary singers sing about deals with the devil is because of him.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, that's true. I don't know a lot of his songs. I know a few of them, but yeah, he's kind of a pioneer in
yeah,
that sense. But yeah, but no, I don't know a lot of his songs. No.
right. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, it's definitely a fun thing to write about. Oh, one thing I told myself is that I'm not going to bring COVID up very much during this interview because I don't want that to color the entirety of it. But one of the first things I thought of was that it's not like your new album's happy, but it's not as dark as your other one. And I thought it was kind of ironic that during a dark, scary pandemic year, you write a less dark album.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. But then again, most of those songs I had in my head, and I have been writing for
Right.
before COVID. So,
Right.
but I finished recording them and producing them during COVID. Yeah, but I already had them. But Tales of Woe was an album that was created in, I think, a time span of 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And this album I wrote and recorded in a year and a half.
Year and a half.
So I think, yeah, I think the last 1.5 years have been a better period in my life than
Right.
the years before that. Yeah, you
More
can
positive.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. Though, some songs on this album are about, a bit darker things um, about depression and things like that. Not that I'm depressed or anything, but I don't know if you know the expression, the black dog. Black dog is on. Like that's how some people call depression.
Really? No,
There's one
I haven't
song.
heard that. I've known plenty of depressed people.
I think Winston Churchill was the one who coined that
Okay.
expression. He calls his depression the black dog. Like
Black
it's
dog.
always there. It's always there, and you can put it on a leash.
Yeah.
And but it will bite you once in a while.
Right.
And,
Yeah, that's a pretty good description.
yeah. So I've never been really depressed, but I've
You
been
haven't.
right there.
Yeah.
Almost depressed. So I know kind of what it feels to be on the edge of it. And
Right. There's
that's
some
what Black Dog is.
melancholy.
Yeah. So I have this song called Black Dog, which is about that.
Gotcha.
And
Winston Churchill. Okay.
yeah, he's the one who coined that phrase, I think, or at least that's what people say. And then there's the last song on the album, which is Dolly Shot, which is kind of that's my most personal song, I think. It's a song that it starts with an instrumental part and then builds into this noisy feedback loud guitar thing.
Right. Yep. Yeah. I know.
And
Yeah, that was cool.
and then that dies away, and then very quietly there comes this strumming guitar, and there's this that's when the real song begins. So, and that's I guess my most personal song as far as lyrics go. Yeah. So
Right.
I wrote those lyrics in about 5 minutes in the middle of the night at 3 o'clock. And yeah, that's the only time I did that. And they don't rhyme, and there's no rhyme.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
just me thinking out loud, and
Stream of conscious.
yeah. And maybe that helps, waking up in the middle of the night writing lyrics.
Yeah. Well, I just remember reading when I first started writing music in college. I remember reading this book of exercises to improve your songwriting. And one of them said, have a journal. And when you wake up, put the first thing on there. And I remember trying that, and it was just shit. So I've never done that. I've never done that again. And my handwriting's not that good anyway. So when I'm, snoring away and
yeah.
But so one thing I like about your music is I feel like it's very carefully made in the compositions. Like I feel like you spend a lot of time on it. Like, and you mentioned the first one was 5 years. This one, I mean, you had more time to get it done more quickly. But what is this is a hard question to ask, so I'm trying to think of a way to ask it.
Yeah.
What well, so I'm going to split it up in two. When it comes to the songwriting portion, do you write the melodies first? Do you get an idea of the composition of the song first? Do you write the lyrics first? As best as you can, how do you write a song?
Usually it starts with just chords, me playing chords and humming along. So that's how I start with the song. And
Okay.
when I like that humming and that playing and the chords, I record that on my phone usually, and so I don't forget it. And then when I feel like it, I take that idea and play it back, and try to write lyrics to that melody. And so music first, melody and chords, and then I put lyrics to that melody. And I usually spend a lot of time writing lyrics. I think lyrics are really important. I used to think that they weren't important, that they were just part of the song or of the melody, and of course they're part of the song, but I think they're really important. And I like telling stories, making up stories and telling them.
Right.
And so I spend a lot of time writing lyrics, sometimes weeks,
right,
and really refining them. And then I record that. So I record that basic guitar and vocals and with the lyrics, with the new lyrics, and I try to make that sound good. As
Right.
I think I always try to make the like the, what do you call that, the bass, the basic instruments, the vocal and the guitar. I try to
Yeah.
make that sound really good.
Right.
So
Yeah.
so when you listen to that, it has to sound good. It has to sound good
Right.
already without any extras.
Right.
So that's what I try
Oh, I
first.
see.
And
The foundational parts need
yeah,
to
the foundation part, yeah,
be
of
good.
the song have to be good. So like it could be an acoustic song, and then I try to think of, what can I do to make this song better, and what guitar parts can I add, or harmonies, vocal harmonies, or an organ or a piano or whatever. And then I slowly build that song into a point that I think, okay, now I can't add anything else because will be too much.
It'll be too much.
And then I start bringing it down again. So I start to deleting things. So how will the song still be good if I take this part away? Will it still
Right.
be good if I take that away? And then I just take things out, and I keep doing that until I'm almost back at the start and only have some few notes left and right going on, and
Right.
that's my song.
Right. Yeah, that's an interesting way to do it for sure. It's like you can have a little fun with it, but at the end of the day, you want to bring it down to a nice, good sounding song that doesn't have that doesn't have unneeded parts to it.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. And when I listen to music myself, to music of others, what I like about music is, when I listen to it once, I hear the song and the total of the song, and when I listen to it again, you start hearing all these extras and these things that you didn't hear the first time, and then you play it again and you hear new things. And I like that in music. I like when I'm being surprised by the song. And I like to do that myself in music. I like to surprise the listener or something.
Yeah, and those are the types of songs that hold up best to repeated listens. The ones where there's almost too much going on, you're bound to get sick of hearing that eventually.
Yeah.
So, and so when you go, now when you're in the studio, because I know that your profession, along with you do your own music, but you're also a engineer and musician by trade. Well, we'll get to that in just a little bit. But my question is, what was my question? I just had it. I do that all the time as I get old. I forgot what it was.
Uh-oh.
It was a good one too. Oh, okay. No. This is what it is. Like when you're in the studio itself, finishing up the album, like what's your process in there? Like you talked about how you build a song, how you build the lyrics, how you build the foundations, and how you do kind of like an addition and subtraction type thing to get it exactly like you want it. When you're actually in the studio and you're making the album that's going to be released, what's your process there? And you can even be so specific as like, do you like to record with other people in the room, or do you like it to just be you? Do you record better in the morning, at the night? I mean, be as specific as you want.
Okay.
The actual in studio making an album that's going to be released process.
Wow. That's a big question. Yeah, again, I start with recording my vocals and guitar, and I usually how I like doing that is by putting up a few mics to very direct mics. So one for the vocal, which is really right in front of me to record my voice as close as possible, and one in front of the guitar, and I play that simultaneously. So I sing and play at the same time.
Yeah.
And I record that at once. And I have like two room mics that capture the room, that like the vibe and the sound of the room, the ambience of the room. Yeah. So like it sounds already like you're there with me. Yeah. And I try to make it sound as direct, but also as roomy as possible, so that you have the idea that when you listen to it, especially on headphones, that you're right there with me.
Right.
And then when I start adding instruments, usually I go to Harald, which my friend who plays who's like a really good guitar player.
Yeah. Yep.
And I play him. I send him my song. Usually I send him an MP3, and he plays it. And he either when he likes it, or when he doesn't, it doesn't matter. He just he always thinks of he always knows how to make how to find exactly the right sound for
Right.
my song. So he's not only a good guitar player, but he also knows how to make guitars sound exactly like they have to sound for that particular part in that particular song.
Right.
And so I send him that MP3, and he starts, thinking of what he can do to add to that song. And then we keep in contact, and then we make we set a date, and he comes over to my studio, or I go over there to his house or whatever, to his he has this new shed in his garden where he can record. So I go there, or he goes here, and then we record his guitar, which is always an electric guitar, and I usually just put one mic in front of it, really simple.
Right.
And when I mix it into with my foundation, the vocals and the guitar, I always try to add room to his guitar. So in the mix, so I'm trying to make it sound as if it was recorded right here, which it sometimes is, but sometimes it's recorded at his home. So I always try to make it sound as if it's in this room right here with me while I was playing guitar and singing.
Right.
So the ultimate goal is to make it sound as if it's all been played together in the same room at the same time.
Good. Okay. Even if it isn't.
Even if it isn't, yeah.
Yeah, I love that about recording.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, man.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about recording. It really is. You can mess around and do whatever you like.
Yeah, and I've told people before. They're like, yeah, people who don't even would have no reason to understand the recording process and just enjoy to listen to music. I've told some people before, like, yeah, when you hear an album, the guitar could have been recorded in Germany,
the other side of the world,
side of the world, and the vocals were recorded in Australia, and they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, that's how it's done. And so
that's how it's done.
part of the
especially now during COVID, it's how music is made right now. But yeah, that's been going on for years, and why not? If it sounds good, it sounds good.
Yeah, I was thinking when you said you had a room mic, I would love to do that, but like I live right outside of the city, like I can see skyscrapers, and if I did that, I'd hear like honk, 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 get the fuck out of the way, pal, and a gunshot maybe, so.
It could add to your song, but kind of depends on what you're making. Yeah.
The gunshot especially, but no, it's not that bad. I have heard gunshots, but where is your house? Do you kind of live in the country? Do you live in the city?
Yeah, okay. Country.
Yeah.
So we live near a river,
nice.
And which is nice. Yeah, but there's a lot of tourists here on bikes.
Oh, there are.
Yeah. So which I don't mind. But it's countryside, so there's a lot of tractors and things driving around here. So I can hear that in here. So I have I have insulation right here in my studio, which kind of work both ways. So they keep the sound inside, but also outside. So
keep it right, exactly.
Keep it out. So it's really quiet here.
Good setup.
Yeah. Though, I have to close the door. If I don't close the door, I can hear tractors and I can hear people mowing their lawn and stuff like that.
Wow, so you're really in the country. I haven't heard a tractor in 5 years. So. Oh
wow. Oh no, it's tractor day every day here. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, that's kind of a side note, but now that the album's finished, let me back up a bit because I already brought it up and I said I would ask later. But I know that you did soundtracks and scoring for commercials. You sent me some commercials.
Yeah.
Are you still doing that?
Yeah, but not on a daily basis. But yeah, okay. I still do it now and then. Yeah.
Okay. How have you been making your money during COVID?
Not, I haven't. Well, I have, but not a lot. I don't. Yeah, yeah, I have been doing some commercial things.
Okay.
I've been doing this thing for a what do you call it? They make these garden tools. And
Okay.
I've done some music for that and some sound design for those commercials.
Okay. Yep.
So I've been doing some projects, but no, I've not been really not as busy as before.
Not as busy.
But I've become a father since late 2019, so that's
That
kind of
yeah.
that has really changed my life as
That,
far as it's pretty time consuming having a daughter in the house.
right. Okay. I wasn't sure how old your daughter was.
Yeah, she's 11 months now, so
Oh, really? Okay.
she's a handful.
You're right. Yeah, you're in the beginning stages.
Yeah, man, it's just starting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was especially in the beginning, that was really time consuming, and I
Yeah.
couldn't really get any work done.
Okay.
um, which I was okay with. I liked it, being
Yeah.
a father, doing that, and
Right.
but slowly I got more time, and so now she's going to daycare a few days a week, and I have more time on to do what I want.
You can work on your
And
music and work on
yeah,
his music.
and projects and make money.
Uh, do you guys get does your homeland give you money during COVID?
No, well, you can apply for something, but I haven't done that.
You
It's
haven't done that. Okay, I wasn't sure. So it's been an adjustment for, I mean, all musicians, for sure. Now, uh, what was I going to say? But you've told me before that you don't. It sounds like at the end of the day, you like to make recorded music best. Like you don't love to perform live.
I well, I did perform live with bands before. I
Okay.
was in a band, in a rock band, and we played like we didn't play a lot, but we played like a few times a month for years, and
You did
I
okay.
like that. I
You did.
really liked it.
Were you the lead?
But yeah, yeah,
Okay. In guitar and
guitar and singing, yeah, and Harold, my friend who plays with me on Silas J, Dirge, he
yeah.
was also in that band, so that's how we know each other.
Okay.
And and I like that. I like playing live, but we didn't get anywhere. We were there was this ceiling, almost like this ceiling that we were
Right.
couldn't break through, and so I
Yeah.
felt that, and so, so I decided to stop playing, to quit the band, and start and don't play live for a while.
Right.
But not playing live for a while turned into not playing live at all
At
anymore.
all. Yeah. That's
So
what.
I haven't played. Yeah. So I haven't played live for 5 years now, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 5 years, 2015.
If
Yeah.
things calm down and we can play live again in 2021, are you going to do any sort of like uh, concert series or play out to promote your new album?
Maybe I've been thinking about doing like
Yeah.
live streams
Yep.
or yeah, on YouTube or Facebook or whatever. I would like that, yeah, but I have to look into that and how I'm gonna do it,
Right.
because um, I've been, recording and playing live are two very different beasts, as you know.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
record yourself and you play live, so you know that when you record, when you make a mistake or when you think, oh no, that's not exactly like I want it, you can do it again,
You
and
can do it
can
again.
do it again and again and again and again until you think, okay, this is it.
Right.
But live you can't. And I'm in that mindset of
Yeah.
playing and thinking, oh no, that's not it, and then I stop.
Yeah.
Now you can do that live. You can't do that. You
Can't
have to
do
go
that.
on.
I
So I have
know
to.
I know I have this, and I bet you do too. Perfectionism, right?
Yeah.
Or yeah. Oh, geez, if you
It's a
have that,
sickness.
playing live is tough. And people don't even notice when you make mistakes live, unless they're a musician too.
Unless they're a musician. Yeah.
Yeah, but it drives me crazy. Whereas in the studio, I like to make mistakes in the studio as long as I fix them, uh,
Hmm.
because it's part of the creative process. Whereas live, I mean, I do like playing live. It is fun. But there is that freeze up. I mean, I remember doing shows and thinking they were terrible. And people are like, wow, that was the best I've seen you play. And I'm like, whereas if you record an album, you're like, if it's good or not. You know
Yeah.
if you succeeded. Um, Do you now, if you were given the opportunity to play, if they said it is now safe to perform live, would you play at a bar or a coffee shop for this album?
If I can get Harald along, my guitar
Okay.
player, then yeah, definitely. I'm not too confident about doing it on my own right now.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, if he wants to come along, then I'm yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
What this might be useful for me because I want to help you with the get the album out there, but like what would be your top goal? Like, for instance, when I made my like Halloween album, which was like made on a iPhone, basically, you know, it was super raw. But I just wanted to like, I was like, if 100 people who really like Halloween and want to kind of get scared during a year when you can barely leave your house,
Mm.
then I'll feel really good about that. And I think I accomplished that. Is there anything that you want to accomplish similarly with this album? Like, if I can have A, B, C, or D happen,
Oh
then
wow, I
I'll be
haven't thought
fine
about
with
it
it.
like that way, to be honest.
Okay.
Not sure. I don't know that. No, I don't have an answer to that,
Do
to be
you
honest.
do you maybe this will help? Do you like are you hoping to get into the hands of more people who like country music? Because I know you don't like the
The
gothic.
goth. Yeah, I mean, well, I like goth, but I'm not a goth. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not a goth
limiting for
fan.
you.
I do admire. Yeah, I do admire goth music. I mean, I do get it, but I'm not. I wouldn't listen to it for too long.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, if I can get into the country scene a bit more, I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I really would like. And well, maybe there's another thing. I would like to release my album um, on vinyl, maybe physically, because
There you
I've never released my album on vinyl, on that music on vinyl.
Yeah. Oh, that'd
Um,
be a great idea.
and
That
I
sounds
would
good.
love to do that. I've my previous album, Tales of Woe, I wanted to release that on vinyl, and but it's very expensive to
Very
do that.
expensive.
And
Yeah.
when it's your first album, it's not a very good idea to release it on vinyl. I mean,
Right.
nobody knows who you are, and you're not going to be able to sell anything. So,
But
so
it's
I had the
but even then it would be nice to have like if it wasn't too
yeah,
expensive. Like I wouldn't
but you
even
have to
care if I sold 10 copies. Like I'd probably just
no,
give them away after a while.
yeah, but you have to like press at least 100 or maybe even 200.
I
I
think
don't know
100.
what the limit is, but
Yeah, yeah, and the
kind of
money and it only goes down in price if it goes up in quantity,
exactly.
which is like, well, I mean, I don't have 200 fans, you know,
That's that's the thing.
right,
That's it. And I can and the other thing is I can have them pressed here in Europe,
right.
but most of the people that listen to my music are in the States.
They're in the
So if
States,
someone in the States wants to buy a vinyl album, then I have to send it there, and
right?
that's like I don't know, $15 in
Yeah,
shipping costs.
and the mail
That's
system right now is pretty screwed up. Like,
yeah.
I sent some soap to somebody in Germany, and it took 2 months to get to them. Before
Wow.
COVID, it before COVID, it took a week sometimes. But, yeah,
Wow.
be careful if you go that route. You know, you mentioned
Yeah, yeah,
Bandcamp.
yeah.
One thing that they're gonna roll out. They're experimenting it with it now, but they're going to roll out a live streaming resource on Bandcamp where you can sell
Oh,
tickets through Bandcamp.
wow.
Yeah, I think something
I
like that
haven't
would
heard
be
about
good
that.
for you. Yep. I
Oh, that
guess
would be really great.
yeah, and I guess they might if it tests well, they might release it in January. So stuff like
Uh,
that would be fun.
cool. That's really cool. That's a really great idea.
Yeah.
Um, I do think Bandcamp has these beta versions that because they also have a vinyl surface, which is a beta thing, which not everyone can use because you
That's
can
right.
apply for it, but I haven't heard I haven't heard
Oh,
from
did you
them for
apply? Yeah. I think Bandcamp's
yeah
run by like two guys too, so
yeah
they
I
probably
think
just
so too.
have a stack this high. I hope they do that because that would be handy if they had a thing like that. Um, but so another question. This one I meant to ask earlier, but we've gone over your creative process, some of the ways you want to promote the album and get it out there. You know, how you would perform live music with your guitarist. Oh, this is my question. I think people for the in America who would listen to you would find this interesting. How would you describe the music scene where you are? Like, is it a lot of coffee shops? Is it a lot of bars? Is there one?
You mean in the Netherlands?
Yeah, in the Netherlands. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There are venues here. There's a lot of venues.
Okay, good.
The music industry, the underground music industry is really alive here. So I'm more into underground music than into pop
Yeah,
and
same here.
popular music. Yeah. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of venues here that where artists play, and bars of course are everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, you can play wherever you want. Basically, every city and every town has a stage where you can play. Yeah.
But so they do have like they probably have like big venues where like U2 would play, and then like indie venues for places like ourselves, people like ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's pretty common.
Or they have a main stage, like a main venue, and then they have a separate stage next to the main stage, which is in a different location, but next to it, and then
Next
you
to
can
it,
play
yeah.
there as like a what do you call it, like a support act. You can
Mhm.
play there, and then the main artist plays on the big stage.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Sometimes they have things like that. Yeah.
Oh,
And then you can do an after show maybe. There's this thing in a town nearby. They have this really big stage for like really big artists, and then next to it they have the small stage. And so they usually pick an artist, a local artist who plays there and who opens the evening, and then you have, when that show ends, then the main artist plays on the big stage. And
right.
then there's after show after the main act and the other stage played by another local artist, which is a really good way to
That is
put,
a good way to do it.
yeah, you can promote local artists that way, which is a really cool concept.
Right. Yeah, here they don't. Here everything is always done. If you open for a band, like a smaller band opens for a big band, you always share the same stage.
Well,
Um,
we have that too here too,
yeah,
but
yeah. But they have
it's a
those
different
other
kind of,
options.
yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm sure you have plenty of record stores and uh, places to find music and all that.
Yeah, well, they're dying out a bit, but
Oh,
they're
really?
still
Okay.
there. Yeah, streaming, you know,
Yeah.
streaming is taken over everywhere. But yeah, but there nearby, a town nearby has like this big vinyl shop. There's a big vinyl store where you can buy like vinyl records from the 70s for, I don't know, a few bucks, which is really cool. And I like
Yeah.
to go there and like really go through all the records, and that's a really nice place. And you see that more and more, which I really like. I think it's a good thing that vinyl is kind of making a comeback,
Yeah, it is. Right.
and replace not replacing CD maybe, but CD is kind of dying out. I think people don't really
Yeah.
buy CDs anymore. I don't.
Not
How's
as
that
much.
over there?
When I pressed my Halloween CD, I did ask the company. It was a smaller one. I was like, "Has business been good?" And they said, "Yeah, it's been fantastic."
Okay.
I just think that CDs. It depends. I think with vinyl, all ages buy it now. Like I've seen young kids buy it, older people. I think with CD, it's usually 35 years old and above might buy a
Yeah,
CD.
that's
I
it.
don't think too many kids are buying a CD. Uh,
No.
like the thing, I don't like streaming that well. I like Bandcamp. Spotify, I like their playlists because they're usually pretty accurate to what I like. But I don't like their economic model.
No.
But what I do like about streams is I like when somebody will like email me like, "Hey, you got to hear this," or "I just discovered this." That I really like because it's immediate.
Yeah.
Where with physical media, they could say like, "Hey, if you stop by my house, I'll give you this CD." So I like the immediacy of that. But if physical media died out completely, I would be very depressed.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. Me too. Yeah, but you're right. That's a good thing about Spotify. You can, and what I like about it is that they have this algorithm that says you like this song, so
Yeah,
maybe you like this artist too.
yeah,
And at first I didn't like that because I want
yeah,
to decide what I like myself.
exactly.
But I but I've discovered a few pretty cool artists that way. So I kind of started to switch to, okay, maybe I like that system.
Yeah,
But I don't like their economic system. I don't like that they pay you for like what is it 0.00
zero point shit, basically. Yeah,
point shit per play.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a micro royalty, but yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's like several zeros followed by 3 or something.
something like that. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. So it's a lot of zeros, and then yeah. So you have to have. I think I read somewhere. No, that was the art. I think you shared an article a while ago that
yeah,
said like you have to get like 600,000 plays to get minimum wage, something like that, per
that,
month, something like, or per day even. No, per month, I think. So
isn't that
that's like,
crazy? That sucks.
yeah, and that's not for us, man. That's for like big bands,
That's for the
big
big
artists.
bands.
Yeah.
Yep. And another thing with Spotify, I remember some friend of mine. He's a good guy, but he's pretty conservative. And he's like, Spotify hasn't even made a profit yet, so they can't pay you. I'm like, I don't give a fuck if they make a profit. like,
Oh,
like,
who
it's
are
run by
they?
a billionaire. Give me
And
some money, you
and
ass.
it's your music, man.
Right,
So
exactly. And I think you said this. I remember that article, and you mentioned that you thought Spotify has kind of a culture where rather than encouraging carefully made music, they kind of want it like right now. Uh, you know, uh,
yeah,
yeah,
I think that someone, a CEO of Spotify said something like, as an artist, you can't release one album a year,
right.
every few years. You have to keep making new songs and keep putting out songs, and it's about quantity for them, not about quality, which is a
Right.
really bad
It
attitude.
is. Yeah. I mean,
And
some people might like it, but I don't. I was
no, they've reduced music to background music,
to
which is
background. Yeah. Yeah.
to just
You probably would rather like get a drink and, get the vinyl out and the nice speakers and just zone
yeah,
out for
man,
a long time.
yeah. That yeah. Spotify is not for music lovers. Spotify is for
Oh,
music users or something. I don't know.
yeah.
People who want it, really use it as background noise
Right.
or to yeah, just
Right.
to be to not have to think, and I like to listen to music and really
Yeah.
enjoy the song and think about what's the song about and what's the album about and be taken on a journey almost. and
Right.
that's and that's not a Spotify, and Spotify has this playlist culture where you have one song that's featured by an artist, and then the next song is by another artist,
Right.
which can work,
Yeah.
but that's not how I enjoy music, and
Oh,
I think you don't. That's not how you listen to music either. I mean, you
no.
probably like to listen to albums rather than
Yeah.
singles. I think.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Like, unless if somebody makes me a mix album, I love that. And
Oh yeah,
sometimes Spotify though, like you said, like I didn't like the idea of them saying you're gonna like this, but then I listen. I'm like, oh yeah, this is incredible. Like,
this is cool. Yeah, I like this. Yeah.
have
So
you heard of it's a folk singer from the '60s and '70s. He was a Native American, like very openly, named Link, Link Ray, Wray. Have you heard of him?
I think I've seen a documentary about him. Yeah.
I had never heard of him, and I was feeling lazy, so I just like pushed, whatever they recommended, and it played, and he is fantastic.
Wasn't he right like a really good guitar player?
He's
Or
a
there was
really
some.
good guitarist. Yep, but he was a good
Yeah.
singer. He did some cool percussion stuff. So I agree with you. Spotify sucks, but sometimes they do come through for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and if
But
you if you could
it's
get on a couple of your songs from your current album onto a playlist, probably would help you a little bit.
oh yeah, and I do try that. I do
Yeah.
send my music out to Spotify playlisters, but usually they don't like it. They don't like what they hear. Yeah, and but it's not my music, and doesn't really sound. It's not pop music, so
Yeah.
it's not gonna fit in like a fitness playlist or a
Right.
or I don't know, a workout playlist, which is the
No.
kind of playlist that you see more and more.
Yeah.
And so it's gonna be part of like a country gothic playlist,
Right.
which doesn't have a lot of listeners, so it's not gonna
No.
really.
It has a lot of like really committed listeners, but it doesn't have a lot of quantity
Yeah,
listeners.
but the people that listen to that kind of music usually don't listen to it on Spotify, but to
Right.
either on Bandcamp, or they just buy a physical record. So Spotify is just not the right outlet for me, I think.
No. No, like
it's
a good solid band camp type thing
yeah,
with some
but
live streams that you can get a bunch of listeners to would be good for you.
it's good to have it on there. I think to have your music on Spotify so
Yeah,
that at least people can find you. I
yeah.
think that's good, you know. But yeah, it sucks that it's just 0.0033 cents per
Just 33
play.
cents. Yeah, I
Just
remember. Do you remember that band, the Verve Pipe? They had a big song in the '90s called "The Freshman."
yeah.
Um, well, that band is from where I live, and
Wow.
I'm not close friends with them, but I have talked with the lead singer before. I used to work at a bookstore, and years later, they played there, and he was very nice. But he has talked about how I guess "The Freshman" is one of the most widely played songs of all time.
Wow.
That like they weren't hugely famous, but that song was. And he showed his yearly check from Spotify, and it was, I mean, it's more than I get, but it was ridiculously low. It was like maybe $10,000, which I would love to have, but it was for like endless plays.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, so we don't like Spotify.
We no, we can agree on that. Yeah. Yeah.
um, you got time for two more questions?
Of course. Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
okay. So I hate to even ask because you're already focused on the current album, but I know that I always have another project in mind. Is there what are you going to be working on now that your second album's done? What are your creative plans?
You mean for a third album or?
Yeah, a third album or if you have some, what are some ideas that are starting to stew
Oh
already?
yeah, well, I think a third album is my next project, but I'm not sure when. But as I said earlier, I really like the country direction that I'm heading right now. So probably my new music would be even more country.
Even more
So yeah, I'm writing right now, and I'm writing new songs and new material, and they're heading more into the country world, and um, but I'm not sure yet if it's going to be like a full album, and I'm not sure if it's going to be when it's going to be
right.
done or anything. I'm just taking my time on this one.
Even more, but it's even more country is the direction.
Yeah, yeah, country is maybe not the right. You know, country is such a term that when I think of country, I think of like Kenny Rogers
Yeah.
and Johnny Cash and
Mhm.
but that's not. It's more like old school country. You know, like
Yeah.
Hank Williams kind of thing.
Like the really early country.
Yeah, like the 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s country. That's what I like. That's the kind of country that I like, and I want to make an album that sounds like that, like it's made in the 50s, like in the
Right.
40s, 50s, and which is a country album. And
Yeah. A lot of that really old stuff. Hello? Uh-oh.
or the music.
I think
Um,
you just froze up for about 5 seconds. So
oh,
the last 5 seconds didn't come through. Now you're fine.
okay, okay, cool. So yeah, no, you know, like I want to make a country album, but you know, it won't be like a happy, clappy country album. It
Okay.
will
Yeah.
always have this dark thing in there, which I can't shake, which will always be part of
Yeah.
whatever I do.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
No, nothing wrong with it. But you know, it's either yeah, it's a blessing or you know or a curse. I don't know. But it will always whatever I write, it will always have some darkness
Right.
too. But that's you know I like it. But yeah, country. I think that's the direction that I'm want to head with an eventual third album. Um, and yeah, maybe when this album is released, this new album, I'm gonna make some videos with some songs, which you know I'm really bad at planning. You know, normally you release a few singles with a video, and then
Right.
you release the album. But I usually release an album and then make videos, which
Oh
is
yeah. Yeah. What's
the
expected.
wrong way around. But
Yeah.
it's
I'm with you. It's I mean, there's only so much time in the day when you're working on an album for so long, you get kind of jumbled. And so planning it
Yeah.
exactly this way I guess that's why people have managers. But
Yeah, I think so too, and labels. Yeah.
do
But
you,
yeah, the first single that I released of this, Flowers on a Grave, the
yeah,
first single of this album had like this stop motion video that I made with
yeah,
my
that was really cool. I
girl.
saw that.
That was yeah,
It's super
thanks.
creepy. I liked it. I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah, no, cool, thank you. But we worked on that for like a month, I think, or even longer, and I kind of lost track of time. So we worked on that like way too long, and I could have spent that time maybe working on the album a bit more instead
Right.
of making a video. Um, so I decided to not make a video for the second single, "Devils in Town,"
Okay.
and so I just decided to finish the album and maybe make some videos afterwards, because I like making videos that add to the vibe of the
Right.
to the story of the song, either with stock stock images of footage, or make I don't know, a stop motion video like I did with Flowers on a Grave.
So did you make so you controlled the puppets on that one?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't know that. I was like, that's really.
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah.
Oh, I
We
thought you hired like a professional.
no. I have the puppets not here. No, they're upstairs,
Oh
but in
man.
another room. But yeah, we bought this clay that literally literally a box of clay, like 3 boxes or 4 boxes of clay with 4 different colors.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to make like you have to take a like a thin wire, like a steel wire, and
Yeah.
you make it a bit stronger by putting a few wires together.
Right.
And you put some clay on that until it has the shape of of a puppet.
No
And
kidding.
and then
I,
my girlfriend, she made all the faces and all the clothing
yeah.
with some cloth, and she made that look cool. And then I printed out like a background for a church, and a background with what was the other one, with the inside of a church, and
Yeah.
a graveyard, and I used that as a backdrop.
As a backdrop, right? It
And
was
then I
almost
put
like Tim
some,
Burton-y, just like really,
yeah.
really creepy and but kid-like in a creepy way. Oh, yeah.
It's not too good. I mean, if I would show it to a professional stop motion maker, then you would probably laugh. But
It was
I like.
effective. I mean, yeah, for sure. I liked it. I thought it was pretty. I was like, wow.
Oh,
Uh,
thanks.
so that must have taken a long time.
Yeah, like 5 weeks or so. Yeah, so
Yeah.
really long. And you have this puppet, and then you have to, if you want to make it move, then you have to do this. Take a picture.
Yeah.
That. Take a picture. Take a picture. So you have to take like 200 pictures for like 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Yeah.
What did you use, like an iPhone or?
Yeah, just my iPhone 5, I think. So an
Okay.
old iPhone that I had at the time. And there's this app called, I think it's just called Stop Motion,
You're
and you
right.
can, and it's
It,
really simple.
it shows like the shadow so you can line it up, right?
Yeah.
It gives
So
you a guide point. Yeah.
you can see the previous picture. So you take a picture and you see the previous one, and you can see, if you move your puppet just a little bit, you can see how it moves in relation to the previous picture. So you can see exactly where you're going, which is a cool system.
Yeah.
But
I'll
it's
download that. That could
it,
be tedious but fun.
it was really fun to do, really tedious, exactly. It
Yeah.
took a lot of time and a lot of stress. And I've destroyed a lot of puppets, and my girlfriend had to remake them.
Is she
So it was
is she an artist too?
no, but she liked helping,
She
and she
liked
liked
helping.
helping me.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
she
she
helps
made
me
the
out.
clothes things.
Sorry,
You said she made the clothes and stuff for it
the
though?
clothes
Yeah,
and
okay.
the faces of the puppets. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She helps me out a lot with my songs as well, with my lyrics. She's really good at English. Her English is better than mine, and especially her grammar is much better. So
It's better.
when I write stuff, it's usually it's not that good. Grammar is not so good. So
I got you. Yeah, or just
send it to
the
her.
translation. Um, so you guys are like I know it's like a Tom Waits and Kathleen Brennan team. Yeah, they do everything together.
Oh,
So
okay, cool. I didn't know that. Yeah.
yeah, all of Tom Waits, and the thing is, they never have divulged who does what, but they both get the songwriters credits and stuff. So
Oh wow.
when people say Tom Waits is the best lyricist, you're like, he and his
Uh-uh.
wife. Yeah,
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
that's cool that you have that system. going on. So you think you'll do another video? Like, you think it will be a puppet one, or?
I don't know. Maybe, yeah.
Uh,
If I have time, maybe my daughter can help me out.
okay.
I don't know. I don't know which song I'm going to do yet, but yeah, that's maybe a next, like an in-between thing, but I'll keep working on new material, new music, and yeah, which is more country than what I did. Yeah. So there's
Yeah.
definitely going to be a third album, but I don't know when or how.
Do you think like, do you think you'll have, would you ever do an album that had more of a, almost like a country, like with more drums and more
Yeah,
full
definitely
band
drums.
stuff? Okay.
Yeah. So drums, a steel guitar, pedal steel.
Pedal steel. Do you have a pedal steel?
Sorry?
Do you have a pedal steel?
I know, man, that's a hard instrument to play. I can't
Yeah.
play that.
Me neither.
I have a friend who does that, who can play pedal steel. He's really good.
Okay.
I've tried it, but it's so hard. It's so hard.
Expensive instrument too.
Yeah.
But it makes a country song. I mean, that Hawaiian type sound, that appeared on so many country albums. Yeah.
It's an immediate country vibe that you get. Like you have to play just one little thing, and it's a country song.
Right.
It's a really cool instrument. I wish I could play it, but it's I think it takes a long time to master it.
Right. Yeah, and the ones that I see who are good are like really good. I remember when you did my swimming hole song, though, there was I think it was lap steel. Did you play lap steel on that?
I think it was just slide guitar.
Slide
on my on one of my electric guitars.
Okay. There's this really nice thick like burn type thing. Since I'm pretty new at the slide guitar, the other day I was trying to figure out how to get that sort of
oh wow,
it almost has like a bounce to it, burn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. No, I think I play. That's an acoustic slide. Now that I think of it.
Is that what it was?
That was my where is it? It was this one. This guitar, which is this is a recording king. It's an acoustic guitar.
Oh wow. Is that nylon strings?
No, it's
Western.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's yeah.
Oh yeah, sounds good.
I use it.
Great sounding guitar.
I use this one on the new album.
Oh, okay. Oh, I like how it sounds.
Yeah.
That is a sweet guitar right there.
It's a new guitar, so it's not like a vintage expensive one. It's like it's a really cheap one, but it sounds really good. And I think I used this one on your song, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And, with a slide with this thing right here. Hang on. That is like with this thing.
Oh sure, yeah. I got several of those. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I just played like a really minimal.
That right there. Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know what I played, but yeah.
Is that tuned to standard tuning right now?
This standard tuning, yeah.
Standard tuning, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see some nice lap steel or even pedal steel on some of your future more country type tunes. A lot of those old country singers just had such vintage mics too. So when you hear that Hank Williams sound,
yeah,
I know a lot of that is he had a specific mics and all that. So
I also think that back then I'm not sure about this, but I have this theory that people that worked for radio and broadcasting in general and artists, recording artists, had a specific voice that they were actually selected for their voice. I mean, if you listen to people that talk on old broadcasts, they have this high-pitched, almost nasal, pitchy, penetrating voice. And Hank Williams, if you listen to Hank Williams, he had a really it penetrates your
it commands attention immediately.
Yeah, and it's a really specific voice, and I'm not sure, but I think that they were selected on their voice because of the equipment that they had back then. I mean, the recording equipment wasn't capable of recording low.
Right, the nuances and all that. Yeah.
No, exactly. The highs and the lows weren't there, so you had to have a vocal range that was right in between there.
Right.
So I think that's why a lot of artists from those days have a lot of mid frequencies in their voice. Just that's how they sounded.
Right.
I think I'm not sure about that, but it's very typical that a lot of country artists from those days sounded like that. And that's not just because of the equipment, but I think it's how they were selected.
That's funny, because I mean, even without proof, that has to be true, because like, what other options did they have? If they had if they heard some person singing, it was completely whispery and too low, or
You wouldn't be able to record that.
you wouldn't be able to record it, right?
Or if you had like a really booming low voice, you wouldn't be able to hear it.
Right. And that's like the Robert Johnson ones. Like, one reason a lot of people don't listen to it, including me, is that the recording quality was so minimal that you can barely hear them sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of like that vintage appeal now, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot to consider back then as to how they recorded it, and I think your theory has to be right. So my final question, both for the podcast, but also I think this would be fun in the press kit. Like, is there an ideal setting that you think listeners would best enjoy the album? Like, should they listen to it sipping a whiskey in the next to a bonfire, or like, how do you think they could have the most enriching experience of your album?
Oh wow. Yeah, just sit back, I think, in a really comfortable chair, and maybe a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
wouldn't be a bad idea.
Right.
Sorry?
Something to sip and enjoy, and
yeah, and really, yeah, it's that's the album. That's what I think. It's not background music. It's not suitable as background music. So you have to really, if you pay attention maybe to the lyrics, to the music, and there's a lot of what I like, and I said it before. What I like to do when I produce music and write music, I like to add like nuances left and right and here and there.
Oh, panning and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, that you don't pick up on the first listen, but maybe the second time or the third time. So, and that's what I like to do when I make music, to surprise the listeners, and to maybe even give them like a reward for listening to my music. You know, here's a little sound over there that you wouldn't have heard it if you only listened to my song once, but you listen to it again, so now you hear it. So I like that. And so yeah, the ideal setting would be, I think, maybe even headphones, like really good headphones, and sit back and relax and just shut out all the rest of the world,
right,
and close your eyes, curtains down, lights out.
Yeah. The second time I heard it, the first time I heard it, I was driving, and it actually was a pretty good feel for that. And that's how I am most attentive with music, is when I'm driving, or when I'm sitting at home with a drink, you know, and listening. But the second time I was reading before bed, and I had headphones on, and it sounded really good with headphones, and I noticed some of the panning and some of the dynamics and all that.
Yeah, a lot of people listen to music on headphones nowadays. That's I guess because of mobile phones, you know. Which is, I think, not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
Because you can really make things sound really direct and really put a lot of things in there that you don't hear on speakers, or at least not as good. So I try to take that in account when I write and produce music, to have it sound cool on headphones.
Right.
So but of course it has to sound good on speakers as well. But yeah, that's how I listen to music nowadays, on headphones mainly.
On headphones. Yeah. Well put. I guess the only thing, is there anything else you want to add, both to listeners, but also when I write things up for you that we missed, you feel good about it?
I feel pretty good about this. Not sure what I want to add. I think we've covered it all. Yeah.
But I mentioned it's usually the third or fourth listen that I really start listening to the lyrics and all of that. So I'll let you know if I had any observations and all that. But
Cool.
well, cool. Well, good to finally talk to you and face to face.
Likewise, likewise.
And you're available on do you have a website that you don't use a ton?
I have a website, silasjdirge.com.
So okay, and
Yeah.
Bandcamp and
And Bandcamp, and which is on there. There are links on there on the website. And I'm gonna update my website pretty soon. I think this week with some new with a announcement for the new album.
awesome.
So yeah, the release is gonna be January the 8th. But I think I'm gonna put it on Bandcamp just a bit ahead of that.
Okay.
As a kind of a thank you for all the people on Bandcamp that listen and buy my music. I mean,
Okay.
that's a different breed. People on Bandcamp, those are different people.
Oh yeah. Well, I like. I've heard it compared like people who like Bandcamp is like the Etsy of music websites, and I think that's why I like it. I mean, I spend more money than I should on Etsy, and Bandcamp. I do buy from record stores mostly. I mean, there's one right down the road, but I do like going on Bandcamp. I found your music on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
There's a country singer, Sarah Shook, that's one of my favorites. I found her on Bandcamp. There's a lot of punk bands I still like. I'm pretty out of touch with that scene, but I do like it still. Every bit of it I found on Bandcamp. So this interview has been very pro Bandcamp.
Yeah, which is a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh,
And,
absolutely. Well, I'll have you on. I'll have you on again when the third one comes on.
All right, great.